When he told the cow what he had seen in the cabin, she stopped eating. "So my mistress is dead," said she. "Then it will be soon over for me as well." "There will always be someone to look out for you," said the boy, comfortingly. "Ah, you don't know," said the cow, "that I am already twice as old as a cow usually is before she is laid upon the slaughter bench. But then I do not care to live any longer, since she, in there, can come no more to care for me." She said nothing more for a while, but the boy observed, no doubt, that she neither slept nor ate. It was not long before she began to speak again. "Is she lying on bare floor?" she asked. "She is," said the boy. "She had a habit of coming out to the cowshed," she continued, "and talking about everything that troubled her. I understood what she said, although I could not answer her. These last few days she talked of how afraid she was lest there should be no one with her when she died. She was anxious for fear that no one should close her eyes and fold her hands across her breasts after she was dead. Perhaps you'll go in and do this?" The boy hesitated. He remembered that when his grandfather had died, Mother had been very careful about putting everything to rights. He knew this was something which had to be done. But, on the other hand, he felt that he didn't care to go to the dead in the ghastly night. He didn't say no, neither did he take a step towards the cowshed door. For a couple of seconds the old cow was silent, just as if she had expected an answer. But when the boy said nothing, she did not repeat her request. Instead, she began to talk with him of her mistress. There was much to tell, first and foremost, about all the children which she had brought up. They had been in the cowshed every day, and in the summer they had taken the cattle to pasture on the swamp and in the groves, so the old cow knew all about them. They had been splendid, all of them, and happy and industrious. A cow knew well enough what her caretakers were good for. There was also much to be said about the farm. It had not always been as poor as it was now. It was very large, although the greater part of it consisted of swamps and stony groves. There was not much room for fields, but there was plenty of good fodder everywhere. At one time there had been a cow for every stall in the cowshed, and the oxshed, which was now empty, had at one time been filled with oxen. And then there was life and gaiety, both in cabin and in cowhouse. When the mistress opened the cowshed door, she would hum and sing, and all the cows loud with gladness when they heard her coming. But the good man had died when the children were so small that they could not be of any assistance, and the mistress had had to take charge of the farm and all the work and responsibility. She had been as strong as a man, and had both ploughed and reaped. In the evenings, when she came into the cowshed to milk, sometimes she was so tired that she wept. Then she dashed away her tears and was cheerful again. "It doesn't matter. Good times are coming again for me too. If only my children would grow up. Yes, if they would only grow up." But as soon as the children were grown, a strange longing came over them. They didn't want to stay at home, but went away to a strange country. Their mother never got any help from them. A couple of her children were married before they went away, and they had left their children behind in the old house. And now these children followed the mistress in the cowshed, just as her own had done. They tended the cows, and were fine, good folk. And in the evenings, when the mistress was so tired out that she could fall asleep in the middle of the milking, she would rouse herself again to renewed courage by thinking of them. "Good times are coming for me too," she said, and shook off sleep, "once they are grown." But when these children grew up, they went away to their parents in the strange land. No one came back. No one stayed at home. The old mistress was left alone on the farm. Probably she had never asked them to remain with her. "Think you, Rodolina, that I would ask them to stay here with me, when they could go out in the world and have things comfortable?" she would say as she stood in the stall with the old cow. "Here in Smallland they have only poverty to look forward to." But when the last grandchild was gone, it was all up with the mistress. All at once she became bent and grey, and tottered as she walked, as if she no longer had the strength to move about. She stopped working. She did not care to look after the farm, but let everything go to rack and ruin. She didn't repair the houses, and she sold both the cows and the oxen. The only one that she kept was the old cow who now talked with Thumbletot. Her she let live because all the children had tended her. She could have taken maids and farmhands into her service, who would have helped with her work, but she couldn't bear to see strangers around her, since her own had deserted her. Perhaps she was better satisfied to let the farm go to ruin, since none of her children were coming back to take it after she was gone. She did not mind that when she herself became poor, because she didn't value that which was only hers. But she was troubled lest the children should find out how hard she had it. If only the children do not hear of this! If only the children do not hear of this! She sighed as she tottered through the cowhouse. The children wrote constantly and begged her to come out to them, but this she did not wish. She didn't want to see the land that had taken them from her. She was angry with it. It's foolish of me, perhaps, that I do not like the land which has been so good for them, she said, but I don't want to see it. She never thought of anything but the children and of this, that they must needs have gone. When summer came, she led the cow out to graze in the big swamp. All day she would sit on the edge of the swamp, her hands in her laps, and on the way home she would say, "You see, Rodolina, if there had been a large, rich field here, in place of these barren swamps, then there would have been no need for them to leave." She could become furious with the swamp when it spread out so big and did no good. She could sit and talk about how it was the swamp's fault that her children had left her.